Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I'm an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The next chapter of the Bold and the Beautiful unfolds with emotions running higher than ever, as old family wounds are ripped open and new loyalties threaten to reshape everything the Logans have built. The atmosphere inside Logan is charged with bitterness, heartbreak, and determination, where every conversation feels like the beginning of another battle rather than a peaceful discussion. At the center of the storm stand Brooke Logan Spencer and Katie Logan Spencer, two sisters whose love for family has now become the very thing driving them apart. Their confrontation is no longer about simple disagreements or business strategy. It has become deeply personal, fueled by years of history, fierce maternal instincts, and completely opposing visions of Hope Logan Spencer's future. Every glance between them carries unspoken resentment. Every word lands with the force of a challenge, and neither woman shows the slightest intention of backing down. As tensions continue to rise, it becomes painfully clear that this family conflict is only growing stronger, and the consequences may reach far beyond the walls of the company. Brooke's frustration has reached a breaking point, and the intensity of her emotions has already exploded into a dramatic act that perfectly captures the pain burning inside her. In a moment fueled by pure outrage, she smashed the display screen featuring Hope by Logan, unable to tolerate the sight of what she believes represents the betrayal of her own daughter. To Brooke, this isn't simply about a fashion label changing homes or a business opportunity taking a different direction. In her eyes, Katie has stolen Hope away, pulling her into a future Brooke never wanted for her and encouraging a path she refuses to accept. Every instinct inside Brooke tells her that Hope belongs somewhere else, and she refuses to stand quietly while her daughter's fashion house becomes permanently tied to Logan. The pain of watching Hope embrace this new beginning feels almost unbearable, convincing Brooke that drastic action is the only answer. Rather than accepting defeat, she becomes even more determined to rescue her daughter from what she sees as a terrible mistake. With unwavering confidence, Brooke begins forming a bold plan that she believes no one can stop. She is convinced that Hope needs saving, and in her mind, only she can pull her daughter away before it is too late. Brooke refuses to believe Katie has the power to stand in her way, fully expecting that once she reaches Hope, everything will fall back into place. Yet, Katie remains remarkably calm in the face of Brooke's determination, displaying a quiet confidence that only fuels the confrontation even further. Katie may insist that she doesn't need to stop Brooke at all because Hope has already made her own decision. She believes Hope belongs exactly where she is, building something meaningful at Logan, and no amount of emotional pressure from Brooke will change that reality. Instead of reacting with fear, Katie almost dares her sister to try, convinced that Brooke's rescue mission is destined to fail before it even begins. As the argument grows more intense, Katie begins laying out the reasons why Brooke's plan simply doesn't make sense. She points to Hope's incredibly successful debut, reminding Brooke that Hope's career has never looked brighter than it does right now. Why would Hope willingly walk away from a future filled with opportunity when her professional life is finally soaring to new heights? Katie believes the answer is obvious, and she expects Brooke to eventually realize that Hope has every reason to stay exactly where she is. But Katie doesn't stop there. She also argues that even if Brooke somehow convinced Hope to return, the doors at Forrester Creations may no longer be open. Considering everything that has happened, Katie believes Steffi Forrester Finnegan and the rest of the powerful Forrester family would never simply welcome Hope back without resistance. In Katie's eyes, Brooke isn't fighting reality. She's fighting a dream that no longer exists. The painful truth Katie presents cuts deeper than Brooke wants to admit. She reminds her sister that Hope was cast aside at Forrester, left behind by the very people Brooke now expects to embrace her once again. Katie cannot imagine Hope abandoning the exciting new chapter she's just begun, especially after finding fresh momentum and renewed confidence through Logan. Brooke may desperately want to march into the company, take Hope by the hand, and lead her back to familiar territory, but Katie believes that ending belongs to the past, not the future. Every success Hope experiences only strengthens Katie's confidence that Brooke's mission is built on hope rather than reality. As emotions continue spilling over, the battle between the sisters becomes less about business and more about accepting the difficult truth that Hope is making her own choices. Whether Brooke is ready to face it or not, Katie believes her daughter has already stepped into a new life that cannot simply be undone. Meanwhile, another emotional conflict quietly begins unfolding elsewhere, where Will Spencer finds himself wrestling with an entirely different kind of guilt. The weight of the secrets he has been carrying now feels heavier than ever, especially knowing he must eventually face Electra Forrester. Until now, Will believed he was simply doing what was expected of him, remaining loyal to his family and protecting sensitive business matters. But the truth has finally come crashing into the open, leaving Electra stunned by revelations she never saw coming. She was blindsided not only by Hope's shocking situation, but also by Logan's exciting new jewelry collection and the surprising use of the treasured Hope for the Future diamond. Discovering that Will had known about these major developments all along leaves her questioning everything. Trust suddenly becomes the central issue between them, and Will fears the damage may already be far greater than he anticipated. As Will struggles with his conscience, Bill Spencer steps forward with the unwavering confidence that has always defined him. From Bill's perspective, there is absolutely no reason for his son to feel guilty. He firmly believes Will simply fulfilled his responsibilities, protecting his family's interests exactly as he should have done. Bill sees loyalty as one of the most important values a Spencer can possess, and he refuses to apologize for placing family and business above everything else. If Electra cannot understand why Will chose silence, Bill believes the problem doesn't lie with Will at all. Instead, he argues that Electra is failing to appreciate the difficult position Will was placed in. To Bill, business demands discretion, and expecting Will to betray confidential family matters for the sake of a romantic relationship is both unfair and unrealistic. Even so, Will cannot completely embrace his father's perspective. Deep inside, he understands that separating business from personal relationships is far more complicated than Bill makes it sound. Feelings don't simply disappear because a company policy or family expectation demands it. And Will knows the emotional consequences of his choices are now impossible to ignore. Bill may continue insisting that work and romance should exist in completely separate worlds, but Will is beginning to realize that real life rarely follows such clean boundaries. Every business secret has the potential to become a personal betrayal when love is involved. As he prepares himself for the inevitable confrontation with Electra, anxiety continues building with every passing moment. He knows explanations may not be enough to repair the trust that has already been broken. Electra, meanwhile, is far from ready to forgive or forget. The discovery that Will concealed such enormous secrets leaves her feeling hurt, confused, and increasingly furious. From her perspective, the issue isn't simply the information itself. It's the fact that the man she trusted chose to keep her in the dark while everyone else's lives continued moving forward. Every unanswered question only deepens her frustration, making it harder to believe that honesty still exists between them. According to the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, those unresolved emotions are only setting the stage for an explosive showdown that is rapidly approaching. As family loyalties, professional ambitions, and romantic relationships collide, the emotional fallout promises to leave lasting scars. With Brooke refusing to surrender her daughter, Katie standing firmly in her way, Bill defending family loyalty above all else, and Electra demanding answers from Will, every storyline races toward powerful confrontations that could change the future of each relationship forever. The emotional fault lines that have already begun to fracture these relationships promise to widen even further as every character is forced to defend the choices they have made. What once appeared to be ordinary business decisions are now exposing deeply personal wounds that have been buried beneath years of family history, love, pride, and lingering resentment. Every victory comes with a painful cost, and every conversation seems destined to reopen old scars that never truly healed. Beneath the polished image of successful companies and glamorous fashion lines lies a family struggling to hold itself together while competing dreams threaten to pull everyone in opposite directions. The future no longer feels predictable because each decision carries emotional consequences that cannot simply be erased. As the tension steadily rises, every heart involved is pushed closer to a breaking point. For Brooke, the battle is no longer about reclaiming a fashion line or correcting a business move. It has become a mother's desperate fight to protect the daughter she believes is slipping further away with every passing day. She cannot shake the feeling that hope is being swept into a future built on compromises and alliances that will ultimately leave her heartbroken. Every success Hope celebrates at Logan only strengthens Brooke's conviction that her daughter is embracing an illusion instead of the life she truly deserves. In Brooke's mind, allowing Hope to remain where she is would mean surrendering not only her daughter's career, but also the dreams they once shared together. That conviction fuels every emotional outburst, every determined promise, and every refusal to back away from Katie's challenge. No matter how impossible the odds may seem, Brooke remains convinced that a mother's love is powerful enough to change the course of her daughter's future. Katie, however, sees the situation through an entirely different lens, and that difference continues to drive an even deeper wedge between the sisters. Rather than believing Hope needs to be rescued, Katie sees a woman who has finally found the freedom to build something on her own terms. She believes Hope's confidence has grown stronger precisely because she has stepped away from the disappointments that once defined her time at Forrester. From Katie's perspective, Hope has stopped waiting for someone else to recognize her worth and has instead begun creating opportunities for herself. That transformation deserves encouragement, not interference. Katie refuses to let Brooke rewrite Hope's future based on fears rooted in the past, and she stands firm in the belief that real love sometimes means trusting someone to make their own choices, even when those choices are difficult for others to accept. Hope herself remains at the center of this emotional storm, even as others continue debating what is supposedly best for her. Her remarkable debut has already proven that she is capable of succeeding in this bold new chapter, and the excitement surrounding her work suggests that her career is entering one of its brightest moments yet. Every achievement reinforces the idea that she is no longer defined by the setbacks she once endured. The success of her latest venture offers more than professional validation. It gives her renewed confidence after enduring disappointment and rejection. That momentum makes the thought of abandoning everything she has built seem increasingly unlikely. As others argue over where she belongs, Hope's growing accomplishments quietly speak for themselves, suggesting that her future may already be unfolding exactly where she stands. At the same time, the shadow of Forrester Creations continues hanging over every conversation, like an unresolved chapter that refuses to stay closed. Katie cannot ignore the painful reality that Hope was pushed aside, leaving behind memories that are still fresh for everyone involved. The idea that the Forrester family, led by Steffi, would suddenly welcome Hope back without hesitation feels unrealistic in Katie's eyes. Too much has happened, too many harsh words have been exchanged, and too many bridges have already been burned. Even if Brooke's determination never weakens, the road leading back to Forrester appears filled with obstacles that cannot simply be wished away. Those lingering tensions remind everyone that some doors, once closed, are incredibly difficult to reopen. While the Logan family struggles with one emotional battlefield, another continues taking shape within the Spencer family, where Will finds himself caught between love and loyalty. His father's unwavering confidence offers reassurance on the surface, yet it cannot silence the doubts growing inside him. Will understands why Bill believes family business should remain protected, but understanding that principle does little to ease the pain of watching someone he cares about feel betrayed. The burden of carrying confidential information has become far heavier now that the emotional consequences are impossible to ignore. Every passing moment brings him closer to the inevitable conversation with Electra, and he knows that no carefully chosen explanation can erase the fact that he kept life-changing secrets from her. The fear of losing her trust begins weighing on him more heavily than any business responsibility ever could. Bill, however, refuses to compromise on the principles that have guided him throughout his life. He believes loyalty to family must always come first, especially when sensitive business matters are involved. In his view, Will acted with integrity by protecting confidential information instead of allowing personal emotions to interfere with professional obligations. Bill sees no betrayal in his son's silence because he believes discretion is simply part of the responsibility that comes with being a Spencer. If Electra cannot appreciate the impossible position Will was placed in, Bill sees that as a misunderstanding she must overcome rather than a mistake his son needs to apologize for. His advice remains firm and unwavering. Never allow business decisions to dictate the fate of personal relationships, and never sacrifice family loyalty to satisfy someone else's expectations. Unfortunately, emotions rarely follow rules as neatly as Bill imagines. Electra's disappointment continues growing with every reflection on everything she has recently learned. The shocking revelations surrounding Hope, Logan's ambitious new jewelry line, and the decision to feature the Hope for the Future diamond have completely changed her understanding of recent events. More painful than the secrets themselves is the realization that Will knowingly allowed her to remain unaware while carrying the truth alone. That lingering sense of exclusion continues fueling her anger, making forgiveness seem increasingly difficult. As those emotions intensify, the approaching confrontation between them begins to feel unavoidable, promising difficult questions, painful answers, and emotional consequences that neither of them can fully predict. By the time these intersecting storylines reach their next chapter, every relationship stands on uncertain ground. Brooke refuses to surrender her fight for Hope. Katie remains equally determined to protect the future she believes Hope has earned. Bill continues defending loyalty above all else, and Will finds himself trapped between the woman he loves and the family he cannot abandon. Meanwhile, Electra's growing frustration threatens to transform hurt feelings into a full-scale emotional reckoning that could permanently alter their relationship. Every decision made in the name of love, family, and ambition now carries enormous consequences that stretch far beyond the boardroom. As hidden emotions finally rise to the surface and long-simmering conflicts erupt into open confrontation, The Bold and the Beautiful moves toward another unforgettable chapter where every choice matters, every heart is tested, and no one escapes the emotional fallout of the battles that lie ahead.